If you want to make the Avs starting lineup, the man to beat is Gabe Bourque. After spending most of the 16-17 season in the AHL and playing just a handful of games with the Avs, it was hard to place where Bourque was going to end up this year. Ultimately, he would end up starting the season in the AHL, but it wouldn't take long for him to come back up, playing just 5 games before he would not return to the AHL. In the eyes of the Avs coaching staff, Bourque quickly earned his spot and held on to it. It took a little longer for him to earn his spot in the fans' eyes, but he would eventually get there. It wasn't really until the turn of the new year that Bourque started getting into the lineup every night, but that's okay. Bourque knows the type of player he needs to be and knows his role on this team, and oftentimes that includes being a scratch. Bourque is a 12th forward at best. Probably on a real cup contender, he's more of a 13th or maybe even a 14th forward, but the Avs just aren't there yet, and using him as a 12th forward is perfectly fine. He's going to grind, he's going to play physically, and he's going to do defensive work with a lot of work ethic. He's not going to score a ton, but he will score enough. In the second half of the season, when he was in the lineup with more regularity, he would score a point every 4th or 5th game or so, which, not great, but again, not his role. He would also play big minutes on the penalty kill for the Avs, with only 3 forwards playing more time on the PK than him. Ultimately, if the Avs had a fully healthy lineup last season, you would have liked to see someone like Greer or Tony Nato take his spot away, but the fact is, Bourque was just performing better than them. When it came down to crunch time in the season, Bourque was a regular in the lineup still, and he even was a contributor during the playoffs for the Avs. Ultimately, Bourque had 5 goals and 6 assists for 11 points in 58 NHL games. On top of that, he also had 2 goals in 6 NHL playoff games and 2 points in 5 AHL games. Based on his all-around play on the season, I'm going to give him a grade of a B-. Now that grade is relative to the expectations from him. If the Avs try to move him up to a 3rd line player or something like that, it's not going to work out well. With that said, as it stands now, that 4th line spot as the 12th-ish forward is Gabe Bourque's to lose coming into this season. And hopefully, for the Avs' sake, he isn't an every night player, because we want those younger players to come in and start taking up those spots. But Bourque will still function just fine in the lineup and just fine as a healthy scratch for them. When injuries inevitably hit, slotting in someone like Gabe Bourque on your 4th line is not a bad thing. Ultimately, I expect similar numbers in games played and points for Bourque in this coming season, and the year after that, hopefully, there's probably not a ton of room for him. He's a good player. I think he'll be able to find another spot somewhere in the NHL if he wants to, but he's that journeyman type that should be replaceable by your younger players as they continue to progress. He sets the bar. If you want to be an impact player in the NHL, you have to be better than Gabe Bourque. That is the end of this player's season review. Thank you for watching. If you want to see all of Gabe Bourque's season highlights, they're right up here. I'm Rudo3, and I still have a lot of these reviews to do.